Ezekiel 33 and 1 to 7. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, When I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast, and set him for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet, and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet, and taketh not warning, if the sword come, and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet, and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him, for he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Lord, the Most High, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai being his begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops who rule well from the GMS camp, the Wadi Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, for giving them this truth so that they can teach it unto us, the hopeful elect. I have a lesson where I'm going into this mega city that is running out of water here in Mexico City. And furthermore, I'll just go ahead and start reading from the article. This mega city is running out of water. What will 22 million people do when the taps run dry? And this is from the Los Angeles Times, published March 21st, of course, of this year. And just not too much I'm going to read from it, but there are a little bit of things that I do want to read. And I'm going to start right here, the Mexico City. When Reina Cervantes Trejo heard the truck's gears grinding as it climbed the street to her house, she rushed outside. Thank our good Lord, she said. The water has finally arrived. And you can see in these pictures, it's a water truck. She has her buckets, the person right next door to her, it looks like they have their buckets and everything, to pretty much receive some water. Cervantes and her husband hurried to help the driver, Freddie Romero, as he yanked hoses from the truck to fill up cisterns and a hodgepodge of plastic buckets, pails, and kitchen pots the couple had assembled on their patio. And so really to receive water, these people have all these, these different kinds of buckets, and things like that just to pretty much put water in, which is ridiculous, man. The taps had dried up weeks ago, and Cervantes' daughter had been calling the city nearly every day, pleading for the water trucks to come to their working-class neighborhood in the city's south. Cervantes desperately needed the water to bathe her father, who recently turned 100, and keep his clothes clean. And like I said, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I want to scroll down to right here, Shalakia. Water shortages are becoming a way of life in cities across the globe. Los Angeles, Cape Town, South Africa, Jakarta, Indonesia, and many more. As climate change worsens and authorities often pipe in water from ever more distant sources. Water sources are depleted around the world, said Victoria Beard, a professor of city and regional planning at Cornell University. Every year, more cities will face day zero with no water in their pipe systems. And they're telling us, pretty much right here, coming to a Babylon near you, that eventually the water is going to cease. And that's something that we know through the scriptures, that the water is going to cease. And just from there, it's only going to get worse. It has no choice but to get worse. The first precept that I want to bring out is Matthew 24 and 3 to 8. And this is in the NLT. Later, Yahweh Shai sat on the Mount of Olives. His disciples came to him privately and said, Tell us, when will all this happen? What sign will signal your return in the end of the world? So, as he's going to end up saying, these are going to be things that are going to mark the return of our Lord, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, which the world ignorantly calls. Yahweh Shai told them, Don't let anyone mislead you, for many will come in my name, claiming, I am the Messiah. They will deceive many, and you will hear of wars and threats of wars. But don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately. Nation will go to war against nation, and we see that nations rising up and nations just teaming up to pretty much go against each other, and kingdom against kingdom. And we're seeing those kingdoms as well. There will be famines and earthquakes in many parts of the world, and we see the famines. And we know of the earthquakes, if you want to edify yourself. So lucky I didn't take any notes on going into the word earthquakes, but the word earthquake pretty much goes into sounds of destruction, But all this is only the first of the birth pains, with more to come. So this is only just the beginning of the what is it a woman has when she's bearing child, and what is it called? Darn, it's on the tip of my tongue. The birth pains, contractions. These are only the beginning of the contractions that are going to end up coming upon the rest of this world. Not just Babylon, but the world as well. And you can kind of scroll down and you just see like people walking around and jolly. They're still doing their birthdays, and I don't know what it looks like she's doing. A 15-year-old receives help. Oh, that's her quinceañera. So you're celebrating the quinceañera and everything, but there's no water. So that should cause you to kind of like just wonder, like, okay, well, what are we going to do? How am I going to celebrate a quinceañera and I got to buy bottles of water for everybody that's coming? And, the Mexicans, I believe they're Ishikar, Shalakia, they're going to have plenty of people at their party, so they're going to need a lot of water, plus the alcohol and everything else that they're going to consume, So in Mexico City, water tankers were brought, and during a 4-day shutdown for a 2018 maintenance project, now with taps running dry in the metropolitan area, the trucks are in great demand. This is coming here very soon. You see, just coincidentally, you see right here in the back, what is that? Centro de Idomas. I believe that's France, America, and China. And you can kind of tell like these three kingdoms alone that they're well off right now. They're not worried about the water or anything like that, because we know we have running water. Now, of course, we have the Flint, Michigan, and certain areas of our country that have been treated wrongly accordingly to that water. But these are just signs. These are birth pains that are only going to happen, that are only going to occur more and more and more, and they're going to get worser and worser and worser and worser. Next precept I have is Jeremiah 14 and 2-4 in the KJV. Judah mourneth, and Judah mourneth, Salakia, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground. And although this is talking about Judah, we understand that this is likened unto all of our nations, according to the curses that were given in Deuteronomy chapter 28, 15 and down. And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up, and the nobles have sent their little ones to waters. They came to the pits and found no water. They returned with their vessels emptied. They were ashamed and confounded, and covered their heads, because the ground is chapped, for there was no rain in the earth. The plowmen were ashamed. They covered their heads. And as we can see, like, there's a little boy right here, water trucker driver Moses Perez Medina and his 5-year-old son Giovanni arrive at a home in Mexico City, and it's Tapalapa neighborhood, and he's brought his son with him to distribute the water. But you can just see though that it's gotten worse from the time where it originally used to be. The Aztecs are sometimes referred to as the hydraulic wizards of Mesoamerica, and I can go in deeper into that because the indigenous founders of the Tenochtitlan, now Mexico City, built their capital on an island amid series of lakes, a strategic setting that provided both security and access to water. So, and we know that the Mayans and the Aztecs were Israelites, So it's just like, wow, man, look what y'all have done to this country, you know. Mexico City still gets about 70% of its water from wells reaching deeper and deeper into a sprawling underground aquifer network. But centuries of unchecked development have depleted the subterranean bounty. Rain falling on urban expanses is channeled into drainage conduits squandered. And that word squandered, when we look it up, it's pretty much like wasted. It's like, oh, come on, don't give me a hard problem. Look up. Waste. It's wasted. So the water that y'all should be collecting and reusing from the earth, you're pouring it into the drains and just letting it be wasted. And this is a picture of water that y'all could have been using that was caused from a flood. It says right here, Mexico City suffers from water shortages, especially in dry season, yet has long flooded in the rainy season. A police bus navigates through flooded streets as it evacuates residents from Mexico City's Santa Rosa neighborhood in 1967. People wade along a downtown Mexico City street in July 1950, left courtesy, I guess that's telling us where the picture and everything came from. But look at all that water, man. This is water that, they're pretty much pushing in the drains and then just pushing out, and not reusing. Cities are basically non-porous environments, said Beard, the Colonel Professor. Areas that need to be recharging the water table are smothered in cement and concrete. And one of the precepts that come to mind, roughly paraphrasing, is he that has built his habitation on the clefts of the rocks. So I'll just pull it. So I don't want to roughly paraphrase that and end up saying that wrong if that is the precept. Cleft. But is that Obadiah? So I can. Behold, boom. Right here at the third verse, Obadiah 1:3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, and says in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And we know that they built and they went out through all the land and built all their habitations this way. So we can see, look at what they've done. They've built all this concrete and all this stuff, and it's not been for the good. It's wasting, it's squandering what was originally meant to be reused and be taken advantage of to prolong our life here on the earth. And just after this, I think this is the last part I had on this article, and I got a few more precepts. And on the mountains flanking Mexico City, deforestation, a product of hazardous development and clandestine lodging. And that clandestine word, I believe, means like secret. Kept secret or done secretively, especially because of illicit. And boom, we could probably, I need to see what that word illicit means, because I actually do not know. Unlawfully. Unlawfully. A product of hazardous development and unlawfully lodging. Is exacerbating the loss. The tree root pathways that curb soil erosion and help capture rain and snowmelt are being ripped out. So what does that mean? Like, the water is not going, once again, the water isn't going where it needs to. The aquifer is being overexploited, Morales said. We are taking out twice as much each year as can be recharged. And the aquifer loses water. Mexico City stinks as much as 15 to 20 inches a year in some areas, in a process known as subsidence. And we can probably look up that word subsidence too. But let me get these precepts that I actually had as well. The next precept that I had was given to me from the brother Yazarala as well, from the Dallas camp. This is Ezekiel 4:16-17. I'm going to read it in the NLT. Then he told me, Son of man, I will make food very scarce in Jerusalem. It will be weighed out with great care and eaten fearfully. The water will be rationed out drop by drop. And is the water not being rationed out right now? Look at this. So look at this, man. Is the water not being rationed out? It's being rationed out right now. And then she's saying, oh, thank you. Thanks to our Lord, our good Lord, she said. And, we don't know per se, she knows she's an Israelite or whatever the case may be. And she's really, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is, giving her water. But even still, the water will be rationed out drop by drop. And the people will drink it with dismay. Look, she looks dismayed. She looks like, man, is this all the water I'm going to get? Like, it's ridiculous. Lacking food and water. And you could tell she probably wishing like, damn, I wish I had just 2 or 3 more buckets. I wish I had a cooler somewhere I can put some ice in it, like a big enough way to freeze the water so I can have cold water, and she has to wash her father and everything. So, she's wishing she had more water than probably the water that she's getting. Lacking food and water, people will look at one another in terror and they will waste away under their punishment. And that's only the beginning of the punishments to come. This is only the beginning of those birthing pains, And even though we know that this is to come, this is going to happen, we have very much to be afraid of, fearing Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, but as well, with being not proud. So like, it says, that's in 1 John, I believe. Boom. Should be 1st or 2nd John. Slakiakim. All right, con. Sorry. I believe it's in the 2nd verse. I'm sorry, Yakim. I write unto you, love not the world. If any man love him, I have offended you because you know not him. It was pretty much a part where it was saying, having confidence, in his return, that we shouldn't be too afraid. Is it in the 3rd chapter? Dang, man, I know. So I know, roughly paraphrasing, it was pretty much saying that to have confidence because we know that we may be confident in his returning. It's in 3rd chapter. Dang, man, that's gonna eat me up. You know what? Let's just search for it. So I'm trying to get this other, get in and out. Confidence. It should be in 1 John. 1 John 2:28. All right. And now, little children, abide in him, that when he shall appear, we may have confidence and not be ashamed before him at his coming. So, we already know that Yahushua has already died for us and given us the victory as long as we continue to keep his commandments and love him as it's been told for us to do. And as we know, love is keeping the commandments and feeding his sheep and going out and doing the work. These are all things that will pretty much give us confidence when Yahushua returns. And so the next precept I had just to close out with is Isaiah 65:13-14, and just something sweet. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall hollow for vexation of spirit. So with that being said, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Hashem Hawashai again. Shalom to the hopeful elect.